Welcome everybody. My name's Scott. I'm joined today by Stephen, and I'd like to welcome everyone from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel for joining us today. Today, I think we're looking at some more strategic modelling, and we're looking at a topic which is the balanced scorecard, which I must admit I don't know too much about. So Stephen, I was wondering if you could tell us what is a balanced scorecard and what kind of business uses it has and how you can build it in Enterprise Architect.
Thank you, Scott. Delighted to be here with everyone. So yes, another interesting strategic model available directly through Enterprise Architect. So let's have a look at starting, Scott. As always, we're going to set our perspective. I've been doing some work with some cloud modeling of Microsoft Azure, which is a really useful facility. But our topic today is strategic modeling, and we'll look at all strategic models. Notice that Enterprise Architect changes its focus into a strategic modeling tool. I'm going to hide the builder page, Scott, which we could use to create some models from patterns and things, but I want to do this from scratch so that people can see exactly what's happening here. So I'm going to close the builder page. So the balanced scorecard is a performance metric that's used to identify, approve, and control a business's various functions and resulting outcomes. So quite a tactical, if you like, tactical, strategic modeling device and focused on improvement. So as always, let's go to our project browser and we'll choose the strategic models node and we'll enter a new package, create a new package using the browser toolbar. Let's simply give this a name and I'm going to call it, of course, balanced scorecard. I'll leave it as package only. There's a few other options there, and I'll create the diagram over here to show people exactly how that works. So from the toolbar, I'm going to choose the new diagram. The builder page pops up. I've got a number of different options to select from here. Strategic modeling. I'm going to choose the balanced scorecard, which is the first item. Simply choose create diagram. Enterprise Architect does the work for you. And here we can see that we've got a toolbox now that's focused on balanced scorecard. Now the perspectives are particular views of that improvement. So we've got a number of different perspectives that we can use. Now notice, Scott, that we've got a balanced scorecard pattern here. So yep. I'm going to use that pattern and just simply drag it from the toolbox onto the diagram. And it pops up a window that explains to me what I'm going to get when I introduce the pattern into the diagram. So we've got a business process perspective, finance perspective, customer, learning and growth perspective, which are all standard balanced scorecard perspectives if you know the tool and a text element. And there's a little diagram there showing what the diagram will look like. Let's inject that into our model, add the pattern to the current diagram. Yes, I want to do that. And you notice now that the diagram has been magically created for us. We could have done that.
Has that pattern created a whole lot of elements in the browser at all?
Yeah, that's right, Scott. It's not just a raster-based diagram like a standard drawing tool. This is creating elements that are modeling what you're doing. So if you look over at the browser, and this is an easy thing to do, I can select an element in the diagram and choose this Find in Browser icon here, and that's given me the financial perspective there. So it has created those elements and it's created a diagram there. You can see that. So it's done a lot of the work for us, but we could have just dragged a perspective from the toolbox and put it onto the diagram and started, really from scratch. But I thought I'd just show that useful patterns facility.
Saves lots of time.
Saves lots of time indeed. So I'm going to delete this element, the one that I just put on the diagram, and we'll start with the other ones. Now, we've got different perspectives here, and as I said, with the balanced scorecard, we have these different perspectives that focus on particular parts of our business and how we can improve it. In the middle, we have this vision and strategy. And so if what we can do here is we can put some notes into that. We could put some notes into it and talk about what that vision and strategy is about. I'm going to leave that for the moment and we'll come back to that in a bit. But what I want to do is create some notes in some of these elements. So you can see here it says enter text in the notes field. So I'm going to paste some text into here about the financial perspective. And you can see that the notes are, they've got structure, they've got some text at the top and then some bullet points as well. So that's an important part of the notes, and I can change colors in here, do all sorts of different things with the notes. But let's just leave it like that, and we can see now that we've got our financial perspective. I'm going to just change the shape of that element a little bit, and so that the notes fit in properly. And I'll leave that one now, and I'll move on to a couple of the other ones. So let's look at this business process perspective. The perspective there, we'll look at, again, putting some notes in that describe exactly what's going on from a business process perspective. And we'll put those notes in, tidy them up a little bit there. And again, we need to change the shape of that. So let's just do that and make that a little bit bigger. You can see that, and we'll tidy up this diagram with a couple of quick keystrokes in a minute. So the other thing I can look at here is that I might want to, I put the notes in there, that's all very useful, but what I might want to do is to put in some more detail about exactly what this is about. So the financial perspective says focus on the economic goals like increasing revenue, reducing costs, and optimizing pricing strategies. So here we've got a number of bullet points you can see on the diagram and also in the notes window. Increase revenue from parking fees, reduce operational costs, optimize pricing strategies, improve cost recovery rates, and generate additional revenue streams. So all kind of useful things to be able to do. So if we look at this now, let's just give me a moment while I focus on this. Let's look at creating some of these things as elements. So we have done this in other strategic models. Let's do it in this one. So we've got our financial perspective here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the little up and down arrows to move that up. And what I want to do is put in an element to represent some of these things. So I can just use a class element, and I can just drag and drop it from the browser onto that financial perspective. I'm going to give it a name, and it's going to be called this one here. Just move that out a bit so you can see the name. Missed that. Put it in. Generate additional revenue streams. So now we've got that in there where we've got generate additional revenue streams. Let's put some notes in about that particular thing and say, look, we do want to try and understand how that might happen. So we can put some notes in here. You can see what's happening, Scott. I'm going from what might be normal for people to be a textual representation of some of this detail into a modeled representation. So I'm actually creating an element that's called generate additional revenue streams. And I'll put some notes in, explore complementary services such as reserved parking, premium parking options, partnership with local businesses, data monetization, value-added services that create new income opportunities beyond standard parking fees. So, you know, for example, the parking meter has a display. It could be used to explore advertising possibilities. But what we've got now is an element in the model, and then we can then create other links and other details about that and explore and continue the modeling process, so we can go right down to the point where we've got all sorts of details about exactly how those complementary services might work.
So you could have classes and requirements and all kinds of different resources there.
Yep. Exactly. And for example, with the advertising revenue, you could be having that display and all the details about how that display works, the content for the display, the mechanics and electronics of how that display is going to show things, the processes by how it gets updated. Maybe you would have an option for different organisations that wanted to display information on the parking meters. And you think about it, basically you've got a whole lot of little terminals all around the city. And as people are walking by, they could be triggered. So there could be all sorts of other aspects of that, systems engineering aspects of how the triggering happens.
Could even have wireframes for the UI and
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So lots of ways, but without going down into that model and just leaving it as text or as a picture, which happens in in a standard drawing tool. This is not a standard drawing tool. This is a modeling tool, and that's where the beauty and the benefit of it come in. But Scott, I'm going to get you to perform some of your magic, and we'll take this model a little bit further.
Well, Stephen, I've performed the magic, and we're now got a fully spec'd balanced scorecard with the different perspectives. And I noticed that we've got a few more details in the middle there around our strategy and vision as well. So
yeah, that's right, Scott. I changed the text element into being an object, which only took a 10 seconds or so, and it just gives me the ability to put in some text there that's talking about these central strategic objectives. So the other thing is that I can click through from here. So you can see this little icon here, the eye icon. I can bring up the picture of that, and I can also click through from this diagram, and now I've got the detail of increased revenue from parking fees, optimized pricing strategies, generated additional revenue streams, etc. And the opportunity there is now there to be able to allow someone to take these elements down further. And we will do that in future videos, Scott, and show how this strategic world all connects to the more detailed analysis, both from a business and a technical point of view. And notice I can use the little back arrow to go back to this diagram. Yep. But once again, Scott, the take-home message is this isn't just a pretty picture. This is a model that's allowing you to connect all sorts of ideas and disciplines. It's telling a story, it's creating a narrative, it's producing value, and the result is going to be from the whole model is that we're connecting these strategic endeavors, these strategic ideas right through to the lowest level of the modeling, which could be at a low-level technology where we're actually writing code or generating databases out of this tool. So lots of good things here in the strategic modeling world.
Yeah, I think it's really great to have a tool that's so powerful that you can take strategy and embed it in real world things. You can assign it, so you've got accountability, you've got traceability, and you can drill down into each of these perspectives and have a whole lot of depth and everything from wireframes to requirements to classes to whatever Enterprise Architect has to offer. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Scott.
Well, I'd like to thank all of our customers on the Sparx Systems YouTube page. As always, I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. We love hearing from you. We love seeing you subscribe to the channel so you can get the latest and greatest about Enterprise Architect and other Sparx Systems tools. In the description for the video, there's information. So if you want to reach out and contact Stephen to learn more about strategic modeling or any type of modeling within Enterprise Architect, then he'd be happy to help out. So we love hearing your comments. We love it when you subscribe. We look forward to hearing from you, and thanks for joining us today. Thanks, Stephen, very much for your contribution and for showing us how balanced scorecards work in Enterprise Architect.
Always a pleasure, Scott.